Chapter 6 Dirty Work, the world's greatest rebounder. I never want to score. Never. I want to rebound. I want to break the record for most consecutive years leading the league in rebounding. If I do that, they'll have to say I was one of the best who ever played. Then when it comes time to get me into the Hall of Fame, they'll throw a Pete Rose at me and find an excuse to keep me out. Moses Malone holds the record for most consecutive years leading the league in rebounding with 5. I came to the Bulls with 4 to my name, and I honestly think I'm just starting to perfect my craft. If I break Malone's record, I think it would be the most incredible record in basketball history. More incredible than Michael Jordan winning the scoring title 7 years in a row. More incredible than Wilt Chamberlain averaging 20 rebounds a game for 8 years in a row. Bigger than all that, bro, and here's why. I've taken one part of the game and made it into an art form. I've taken this ugly stepchild and made it beautiful. Rebounding is grunt work, like working the graveyard shift as an airport janitor, and now it's being recognized as a pivotal, elegant part of the game. Who wants to rebound? Nobody. Who wants to score? Everybody. I saw that when I came into the league. Plain as day, rebounding drills were no fun. It was no fun to have everybody climbing over your back while you try to move somebody out of the way with your ass and you keep your hands in position to get the ball. This was a badly forgotten skill when I took over. Only a few guys were interested in doing it. Everybody else just did it enough to get by. And nobody ever has taken rebounding and built an entire career off it, to the point where scoring doesn't matter. People see me as high-strung, flamboyant, wild, crazy, you name it. But they love to see me out there perfecting my craft. Through me, the world has recognized how important rebounding is to the game of basketball. My career is filled with examples of my team playing much better and winning much more when I'm in the lineup. I moved into the starting lineup in my second year in Detroit after Adrian Dantley injured an ankle. We won 20 of the first 24 games I started. In my last year with the Pistons, probably the most screwed up year I had, I missed 20 games. We lost 16 of those 20 games at one point that year. We were 17-12 when I played and 0-12 when I didn't. In 1994-95 with the Spurs, my last year there, I played in 49 games. We won 43 of them and ended up with the best record in the NBA. After the Spurs traded me to Chicago, they couldn't keep up that pace. At the same time, the Bulls picked up their pace. I've heard about high school and college coaches who want to thank me for making rebounding cool again. Those coaches might think I'm a coach's worst nightmare, but they appreciate what I've done for this part of the game. Kids want to rebound again, because I've brought it out of the shadows. Other players come up to me and want to talk rebounding. It's like they're saying, I need to talk to this genius to see what he has to say. What's driving him? What's making him mad? That's the word I hear the most, mad. I don't give those guys much. I don't talk to the opponent. I just tell them, it's got to be inside you, bro. If it's inside you, it's not going to come out of you. Somebody asked Isaiah Thomas about me when I was going through hell my last year in Detroit, and Isaiah said, I really think that Dennis is a kind of genius. How many players in history of the league have totally revolutionized a particular part of the game? Wilt Chamberlain was a great rebounder, but he was standing a head taller than everybody else at a time when the league's shooting percentages were down in the mid-30% range. Today, the league's shooting percentage is up around 50%, so there are a lot fewer balls coming off the rim to begin with. Bill Russell made the block shot an art form. He was the first guy who figured out how to block the shot and keep it in play for his teammates. What he did, in a way, was combine a block shot and a rebound. His blocks ended up as outlet passes because he was so damn good at directing the ball to his teammates. But really, who else? Michael Jordan has done tremendous things for the game, but Julius Erving was dunking like that 10 years before Michael showed up, and dunking, as entertainment as it is, isn't any more important than any other shot. It's art, but it's still only 2 points. For the past 5 years, any discussion of rebounding has to start with me, and I'm the opposite of Wilt Chamberlain. Those guys he looked down on are the guys I'm looking up to now. At 6'8" and 220 pounds, I'm one of the smallest power forwards in the league. The first thing I hear from people I see out in public is this: you're too small. That's what they say, that I'm too small for my accomplishments. People expect me to look like Charles Oakley or something big and wide. I'm skinny at 220 pounds, and I'm way too small to be in there pounding it out with guys like Oakley, who's 6'9" and 250 pounds. Also, I accentuate the rebounding by not scoring the teams. By not scoring. The teams I play for don't need me to score. There's always somebody out there who can score. Isaiah Thomas could score. David Robinson can score. Jordan and Scottie Pippen could score. But there's nobody out there who can do what I do. Someday, I'd love to be the first player in the game's history to average 18 rebounds a game and only 2 points. To me, it would be perfect. It's like turning the game on its head. People would say, how'd he do that? How the hell can he turn your game around without even scoring a point, without even trying to? I think that would blow people away. Whenever anyone would ask about my scoring ability, Chuck Daly used to say, Dennis doesn't even need to score to make a major difference in the game. He used to say having me on the team made the difference in anywhere from 6 to 10 games a season. And if you look closer, you'll see I do more than rebound. I coach. I choreograph everything on the floor. It's not by word, it's by knowing the game and knowing where everyone should be. I don't talk to my teammates much off the court, but I'm talking all the time on the court. I'm very serious about my basketball. I still go back to the things that James Rich taught me in Oklahoma. Go all out for what you want and damn anybody who gets in your way. The other team has to watch me every second. I'm giving my team a second chance every time. It's like saying you've got an atomic bomb right here that can go off at any time, any moment. Before I came along, nobody realized how powerful a rebounder could be in shaping the game. The elements that make a great rebounder are pretty simple. Rebounding is desire, hustle, hard work, talent, intelligence, all of those things. There's also something instinctive about it. I think you have to have a sense of where the ball is going to come down. I really do think it's something like that inside you. In 1991-92, I averaged 18.7 rebounds a game and had 20 or more rebounds in the game 39 times. Think about that. Almost half the season with at least 20 rebounds a game. That was the year I broke the Pistons' single-game record by pulling down 34 in a game against the Indiana Pacers. In that game, hell, in the whole season, I felt like I knew exactly how every shot was going to come off the rim. I think I've always been able to predict things. I think it has a lot to do with aggressiveness and alertness, but it also gets back to desire. I'm hungrier than those other guys out there. Every rebound is a personal challenge. I train my mind to believe. I need to get every rebound just to stay in the league. If I don't get the ball, I'm going back to Dallas, back to the streets, back to that hell. I think of myself as a lion or any other wild animal in the jungle. They go after their prey for survival. If an animal's hungry enough, it's going to attack anything that moves. I see a ball out there, I'm going to get it. Simple. But how many guys go all out to do it? My desire is always there, but as my career goes along, I have to work at it a little more. The way the league has changed and all the way teams have treated me have taken some of the thrill of the game. It's harder at 34 years old than it was at 26. I force myself to believe I'm still hungry, that what happens on the court still matters. I can't stop and tell you why I want it, but I still do. I'm fighting against becoming soft. To me, that's the worst thing you could say to a basketball player, even worse than running down his mother. Sometimes, I'm not even satisfied when I got 6 points and 22 rebounds, because I'm always looking to do more. I hate to see another guy get a rebound. I look at him as somebody who's trying to send me out of this league, back to where I came from. In a weird way, I became a great rebounder and a one-on-one defender by sitting on the bench. As a rookie with the Pistons, I had all this energy, and I was just sitting there, watching everybody else play. I couldn't let the energy out, except in practice, and that wasn't good enough. I played in 77 of the 82 games my rookie year, but I averaged only 15 minutes a game. There was no way I was going to sit that much again. I wouldn't have survived. I looked at my team, and I looked around the league, and I made a decision. I could be the best in the world at rebounding, if I was willing to work hard enough at it. I saw that when rebound was something that guys only did so they could run back down and score. I knew it was my ticket to a career. When I was in college, rebounding was something I did without thinking. I averaged almost 16 rebounds a game at Southeastern, and I was scoring more than 25 a game too. I was such a better athlete than everybody at that level that I can get at 15 rebounds a game just by showing up. At first, the decision to focus on rebounding was about survival. At the start of my second year in the league, I told myself I have to do the things that nobody wants to do. I've got to do that to stay in this league. Those two things were rebounding and defense. At the time, the decision was pretty basic. I didn't think I could stay in the league without adding something to my game. So every day, I'd go to practice and play my teammates, who were also some of the best guys in the league. Adrian Dantley, John Sally, Rick Mayhorn. When I first got there, they used to beat my ass. But eventually, I stopped them a couple of times. It kind of shocked me, but it made me come out the next day and say, God damn, I can do this. It's a lot of hard work, but I can do this. And every day I got more confident, and it started to happen. Every time we scrimmaged, I would go up against the first teamers and look at every possession like it was survival. If I stopped Dantley this time down the floor, I'd get to stay in the league. If I got to the next rebound, I'd stay in the league. I started thinking like that, and the guys I was playing against started looking at me like I was crazy. These were veterans, and they knew how to practice without killing themselves. Now they were faced with this wild-ass kid who was playing every second like it was his last. Chuck Daly encouraged me to do this. It was fine with him that I wasn't interested in scoring, and he put a lot of energy into telling me how good I can be if I didn't let myself get off track. Whenever I was down, he'd always find the right way to tell me to pick my head up. The man kept me going. I started to visualize all these great players I would guard, and how I would guard them. I'd watch films, and I made myself believe that I stopped these guys before I even played them. I'd put myself on the floor in that videotape, and I'd go over the play in my mind, and I'd stop them every time. My mind started to respond to that, and those things I visualized started happening on the court. My rookie year, I was very immature. I didn't know the game of basketball, and I didn't know how to focus myself in the right direction. I saw everybody scoring, and there were times when I thought that's what I would have to do to stay in the league. I took a chance by basing everything in my career on rebounding and defense because not everybody sees how important those things are. If they have a guy who can score 12 points a game, grab 8 rebounds, and play decent defense, some coaches would rather keep him than a guy like me. The safe choice is to go with the basic, everyday guy and not the guy who does something unusual. My second year I played more and averaged 8.7 rebounds a game. That was my big scoring year too, 11.6 a game. That could be the answer to a trivia question someday. How many years did Dennis Rodman average more points than rebounds in a season? That's it. 1. 87-88. Chuck Daly used to tell me, opportunity comes to people who wait. When I was a rookie sitting on the bench with all that energy, I thought that was bullshit. I thought opportunity came to people who went out and took it. Now I believe what Daly said. I was just so antsy to play that I couldn't think straight about anything. All this energy needed to be let out, and it wasn't getting the chance. It wasn't that I wanted to play just so I can show off my stuff. I wanted to play so I can get rid of the energy. In my younger years, when I was 26, up to about 30 years old, I had more energy to jump. I was a fucking rabbit. Now I'm not worried about jumping like that. Sometimes, I can't believe more players don't do what I do on the court, because it seems so damn basic to me. You don't have to jump out of the gym to get a rebound. You just have to keep at it. I don't worry that much about positioning because I'm at a size disadvantage to begin with. I'll look for my man to block out, but most of the time I've read where the ball is going to go before he has, so it makes more sense to me to go get after the ball instead of my man. I led the league in offensive rebounds 4 years in a row, mostly because that's when you have free reign to go for the ball and not worry about your man. The only thing I do that nobody else does is jump 3 and 4 times for 1 rebound. I stay with the ball and control it by tipping it closer and closer to myself until I get it close enough to get both hands on. I've got a quick jump, one of the quickest. I can get down on the floor and back up in the air faster than a pogo stick. Most people think you have to jump high to get a rebound, but jumping quickly is more important. I could jump and tip, jump and tip, jump and tip, boom, 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 3 times in the time it takes the other guy to jump once. That's the key. It takes some concentration and body control to keep your head up and stay with the ball the whole time. It also takes conditioning, because a lot of these guys get slow and tired after the second jump. They're the ones taking a deep breath when I'm launching into my third or fourth jump. I've probably lost about 15% of my jumping ability over the years. If I had to put a number on it, but I've gained the confidence and intelligence to change up and continue to be great. I don't have to jump over somebody because now I can go around them or through them. A lot of times I'll be in poor rebounding position, boxed out by a bigger player, but I'll end up with the ball because I wait until my opponent jumps, and if he doesn't read the ball just perfectly, I go up over him and tip the ball to myself. It's all part of adapting to what you have and what the other guy gives you on the court. Some guys get great position, but they can't time their jumps to save their life. I let those guys have their position. Then I eat them alive from behind. It's the same as a baseball pitcher losing his fastball. He can still throw hard, but he has to mix it up a little more to get people out. In 1991-92, the year I won my first rebounding title, Kevin Willis of the Hawks started out like a wild man. 20 games into the season, he was averaging 18.5 rebounds a game, and I was averaging around 11. To me, 11 rebounds is like not even playing. I looked at the statistics sheet before a game and realized how bullshit it was that I was that far behind. I can remember going into the restroom. I don't remember where, but I remember the restroom and having a conversation with myself. Something is really off here, I told myself. What am I doing wrong? I had started to doubt myself. Later, I was telling a friend about this and he said, "You're going to catch that guy. Before the All-Star break, you'll be leading the league in rebounds. Mark my word." "You sure about that, bro?" He said, "Yeah, I'm sure." I went back to the drawing board with myself. I started looking at videotapes. I do that anyway all the time, but this time I was searching for something. I was searching for myself. In a way, I knew I needed to find other options for getting to the ball. Then all of a sudden I had one big game of 29 rebounds. I couldn't pinpoint what the difference was, but during that game I was telling myself, yeah, this is it. I found it. It was like I broke through, and there was no stopping me. I was getting between guys and other guys and through guys to get the rebounds. There were 9 other guys out there, but I felt like I was all alone on that court. The next game I had another 20 rebounds. The next game 20 rebounds. The next game 20 rebounds. 6 games straight I had 20 rebounds. And the next thing you know, I'm leading the league in rebounds before the All-Star break. I made the All-Star game that year and averaged 18.7 rebounds a game. There was some talk about 60 games into the season that I could be the first guy in a long time to average 20 rebounds a game. I was over 19 a game going into the last month, but I faded a little toward the end. From there I started building my craft. Some games I would have 4 rebounds at halftime. I'd be just pissed as hell. And then by the time the third quarter is over, I've got 16 or 17 rebounds. Those are the best games. Those are the games where it hurts and then you rise above it. I'm always looking for the pain. That's going to get my mind back to where it needs to be. I'm no good working from a comfort zone. I need pain. I love pain. When I get 11 rebounds, I feel like shit. I don't feel like playing anymore. I really don't, because I'm not contributing to the team. I'm not doing what I get paid to do, and I'm not giving the team what it needs. And you know what? 11 rebounds is a perfect game for a lot of these guys now. These guys now make a big deal out of a double-double. You get 11 points and 10 rebounds, and you're a fucking hero. At Southeastern Oklahoma, I'd get 14 rebounds, and there'd be all these people standing over me saying, "What the hell is wrong with you? 14 is a phenomenal game for a lot of people." They'll hang that on the wall. But people expect me to get 18 or 19 rebounds every night, and I've done that over the last 4 years. The way I see it, the minute you're satisfied with 14 rebounds, you're not that far away from being satisfied with 11 or 10. If you get there, then you're just like the rest of these guys in the league. Maybe the strangest thing that ever happened to me on a basketball court came at the Pontiac Silverdome in my third year with the Pistons. The ball was heading out of bounds, and I went for it, like I always do, and landed in the stands. It was a wild, crazy dive, but I've done it 1,000 times. The problem was I landed on this poor lady and knocked a few of her teeth out. She saw this as a chance to get some money. She was sitting in the front row, and she said she had never been to a game before and didn't know what to expect. She took me to court, and I had to pay her $60,000 because the judge ruled I was reckless and out of line. This was just basic basketball stuff, a guy diving for a loose ball, but it cost me 60 grand. I found out she not only got her teeth fixed, but got a whole new denture plate too. Okay, I think it's another example of somebody taking advantage of a situation. This one though, this was a new one, even for me. It was probably a new one for the whole sports world. All that crazy shit I do on the court keeps me interested. I try to find new ways to make this game a lot sexier. I'm trying to find new ways to make this game more attractive. Even though it's already attractive, I want every person to leave that arena and say, God, did you see what he did today? It's just like music. It's only good when you feel it. And I'm making you feel it. Very rarely do I feel somebody's emotions when I'm watching a game. Magic Johnson did it, but in a different way than I do. He did it with a smile and a laugh, and I do it with intensity. I don't feel anything when I watch Shaquille O'Neal play. He plays hard, and he cares about the game, but I don't feel anything coming off him. He's one of those guys who were created before he arrived. He's been created as this basketball animal. He plays with abandon, and he plays to win. But how much do you really want to win when you have as much money, attention, and fame as he does? It's got to be hard to keep it all straight, especially at his age. Look at what happened almost as soon as I put on the uniform in Chicago. They were talking about that intensity and excitement I bring to practice, how that was going to make players like Luke Longley better right away. Luke got into a fight with Chris Webber of the Bullets earlier in the preseason, and it came back to me. The Chicago papers and the people on the radio were talking about how I was making my presence felt by bringing out the toughness in Luke Longley. That was fine, but I wasn't the one fighting. I was one of the guys trying to break it up. You look at it the way I act and play on the court, and you might come away thinking I fight all the time. You might think I get into fights in bars and on the street and wherever I am. It isn't like that though. I'm cool. I can take a lot of crap before I get around to fighting. It's like those days in Oklahoma when people were calling me nigger and telling me to go back to Africa. If I didn't take that step then, I'm sure as hell not going to now. Besides, most guys are scared to fight me because they think I'm all crazy. They don't know what I might do. They look at me like, okay, let's just go about our business here. A lot of guys are afraid to piss me off. The only time I had a real knockdown fight was during my rookie year in Boston, and those fans never let me forget it. Everybody was in on that one, and it started with Bill Laimbeer and Robert Parrish in the middle, and it went from there. I got into it with Parrish, and I got into it with Danny Ainge, and before long, guys were everywhere. I didn't really know who was coming at me and who was trying to break it up. I was throwing punches and getting restrained at the same time. They'd throw me out of the way, and I'd come back and fight again. I got tossed out of the game, and I went away kicking and screaming. I tried to forget about that fight and let it fall into the black hole. Most of the time, I do my fighting by saying, I'll kick your ass in the game. Then, when the game's over, I won the war. That's the fight. When the guy has to go back to the bench after he gets yanked from a game and say, yeah, my ass has been beaten. When you look at what I contribute to on the court, what does it matter if I'm a little late to shooting practice? Who cares about that? I'm not going to go out there and shoot 15 times a game, like most of those other guys. If I do get shots, they're going to be right under the baskets, so what the hell? Why can't they cool a little? The perfect coach would tell me, it's alright to be late for practice every once in a while, but I expect you to bust your ass while you're here. That's the way it should be. That's Chuck Daly right there. A coach should have that muscle to fight you. Of course he should. but I wouldn't fine a player if he was late and had a great excuse. I can't tolerate it when a guy's late and he makes it worse by not practicing hard. It would be different then. I work my ass off in practice every day. How many other guys can say that same thing? Not many. In San Antonio, I didn't get much credit for that. They said, he's late, he's late. But how many days am I late for practice? Almost never. And when I am, it's 1-2 minutes late. My last year with the Spurs, I was late to practice one time. I was late once and I missed once. But the guys on the team were like little kids watching the clock. I was early to practice almost every day, but I was always outside the gym, sitting in my truck listening to Pearl Jam, getting my mind right. Everybody knows about the time I did this bad thing or that bad thing. I did something to John Stockton, or I did something to Karl Malone, or I did something to Scottie Pippen. What they don't know is that it's all a big psych job. Everything I do out there is a psych. I'm trying to get in your head. I don't cuss you out. I don't sit there and make you feel like shit. I don't talk garbage. You're going to feel like shit enough after I beat your ass, so I don't need to tell you about it. You know inside, and you know that I know. That's all that matters. The trash talk is a waste of time. Those guys who do that are trying to boost themselves up. They're trying to make themselves bigger and badder than they already are. They're doing it for themselves, and I don't need that. They have to make sure they are somebody. What's the point of that? Everybody's talking trash these days, so why not keep quiet? There's more impact if you burn somebody with your eyes, look straight into him, and let him know with just a look. The talk gets in the way. I don't need to tell you what I'm doing to you. If a guy goes out of the game and looks over at me, Lord knows what he's thinking. What the hell can I do to stop this guy? This guy who's not even scoring a basket. He's dominating the game, and he's not even thinking about shooting. That plays with their minds. They're thinking, what can I do? Hold him? That doesn't work. He just goes around me. Everybody wants to stop Dennis Rodman. That was true when I was in Detroit, and it became more true in San Antonio. When I got traded to Chicago to play with Jordan and Pippen, other teams' desire to stop Dennis Rodman went to another planet, bro. They all wanted to prove they could derail this train we put together. There are 3 players in history who have won more than one rebounding title in each conference. Wilt Chamberlain, Moses Malone, and me. I'm not big enough to lead the league in rebounding all these years. There are only a couple of guys you can compare me with. Charles Barkley did it once. Michael Cage did it once. But those guys are still bigger than me. Charles is 6'6", 250. Cage is 6'9", 240. They're more powerful than me, stronger than me. I use basically what the other guys are lacking. They've got all the power, all the strength, they've got the desire. I fill in the things that they don't have, and that's why it's such a mental challenge when you play against me. I work my body to stay in shape for the pounding I take under the boards. I only weigh 220, so I have to do something to keep from being tossed around by all the guys who weigh 250 and more. I train hard, but I don't try to get too big. My game depends on flexibility and agility. I want to stay toned so my muscles don't get all bunched up to where I don't feel light and agile. I work out before games and after games, and the same goes for practices. I have to do that to stay fresh and competitive. It's hard to explain to people how I can dominate a game with my rebounding. It's hard for someone to believe you can change a game around just because you want it so damn bad. My friend Jack Haley had played with Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, and he says the things I do on the court amaze him as much as what those guys do. Jack always says, I could just stand and watch you, bro, because nobody does what you do. There are players who jump higher and have longer arms, but I do the things they aren't willing to do. They aren't going to stand out of the basket, tipping the ball over and over, waiting for everybody to clear out so they can be there by themselves. Just them and the ball. They aren't going to do that because it's too much work. They don't want to leave all their energy down there because their thing is to go the other way and try to score. They also know I'm the only one out there willing to work like that, so they might as well jump a couple of times and head back down court. The way they look at it, they'll trade that rebound for a chance to get a dunk on SportsCenter that night. I'm not finished crafting this art form either. I can take rebounds to a new level. It's not just statistics that are important. It's the flair and the style. The next step for me is to expand on the style. The way I rebound is not like anybody else. When I rebound, it's like, wow, people notice it. I'm up in the air with the ball at my chest and my legs are sticking out every which way. The ball's all mine. I'm starting to see players trying to copy what I do. I'm flattered the players acknowledge the fact that I have a gift that other players want to emulate, just like they want to emulate the Michael Jordan dunks. I want to do rebounds. I want to do for rebounds what Michael did for dunks. The league doesn't appreciate what I've done for rebounding. They can't bring themselves to give me the credit I deserve for my accomplishments. The people I play against appreciate it, though. They know. They understand. Because they can't believe I can do all the things I do. They watch it and they marvel at it. Rebounding was never seen as a marketable skill in the NBA. They fill their commercials with dunks and last-second shots and Michael Jordan doing the things he does. I think the marketing people are beginning to see the beauty of rebounding now. They're going to have to see it because I keep hanging around. The older I get, the better I get. Most guys are saying, yeah, did you see me score 25 points? Did you see me make that move? That's all they care about. You aren't going to see me doing that. What kind of moves am I going to make on a rebound? People say, what are you talking about? You can't score 20 points. Bullshit. I can score 20 points if I want to, but that's not my desire. My desire isn't to score 20 points or outscore the guy I'm going against and say, I beat his ass. He only had 18. Who cares if we lost? I'm out there to be a piece of the puzzle, to go out there and beat the other basketball team. The other side of my rebounding is my free throw shooting. I can't begin to describe the amount of crap I've taken for a lousy free throw shooter. For me, free throw shooting is like a nasty chore, something I don't want to do. It's like I'm scared to shoot the ball. In 1994-95, it was my highest percentage of my career, 68%. Even that's not very good. But it beats what I did in 1989 when I shot 37% from the line over 15 games. It's hard to be that bad, bro. But I could shoot free throws if I want to. There's something holding me back. It's like I've got to go. I've got to be moving, and standing there on the free throw line with everything around me stopped doesn't work for me. That's why I take the thing and just shoot it. No messing around. No form or anything. You see me sometimes and I look around, not even dribbling the ball, and then I just shoot the thing. Sometimes my feet are moving when I'm shooting, and sometimes I'm not even sure I'm looking at the basket. I just don't want to be up there. I want the game to start moving again. Reporters come up to me, coaches come up to me, they say, you're not a very good free throw shooter. You can't shoot free throws. But look around this league. Not many people are great free throw shooters. I think it's more the way I approach it that bothers people. One thing people overlook, though, when I need to make them, I make them. When the game's on the line, believe me, I'm going to make them. That's when I take my time and actually put some form into it. I can't tell you the number of times it's happened, but it's been quite a few. If I can get my free throw shooting up to 75 or 80%, then my scoring average would go up at least double figures. Then I could walk around like all these other superstars talking about all my double-doubles. That alone is a good reason not to worry about free throw shooting. Someday I might start scoring though. Wouldn't that blow everybody's mind? What would happen if all of a sudden I was averaging 15 points a game and 18 rebounds? Would they make me MVP of the league? No. They'd probably call me most improved. If I did that, it would really mess with their heads. They'd wonder, man, what's he going to do next? He's full of surprises. Everybody is so crazy over scoring, and that's the part of why I'm really not interested in doing it. I could average 15 points a game if I wanted to. I could score 8 to 10 points a game on offensive rebounds alone. So averaging 14 or 15 a game wouldn't be that hard. I can get 4 hoops a game on tips. Watch the way I get my hands on the ball and you'll see that would be real easy. The thing is though, wouldn't be the thing that wouldn't help the team the most. It wouldn't be the thing that would help the team the most. The effect I'm having in this league is easy to see. It's right there in every game I play. Guys are trying to hold Dennis Rodman, frustrate Dennis Rodman, get him out of his game. Denver is a team that tried to do some unusual things with me. They put somebody out there to face guard me the whole damn game when I was with San Antonio. Every time we played them, here's this damn guy with his hand in my face. I don't remember who the hell the guy was. I'm not real good with names of other players. They had one guy face guarding me and another guy guarding me on the other side. You'd think I'd be a guy they'd leave alone because I'm no threat to score, but here's Denver practically double teaming a guy who doesn't even want the ball, and I still averaged 22 rebounds against them. When teams try to trick me or bully me or hold me, I get frustrated. In that way that they're going to do might work. In that way, what they're doing might work. But what's bad about it for the other team is that frustration energizes me more. I'm so happy this is happening. I want to be pushed around and hit in need. The more blood, the better. I have a psychological edge going into every game. The guy on the other side looks over at me and thinks, God, this guy is so crazy, so wild, that I don't know what he's up to. He won't talk to anybody. He won't look at anybody. What's going on in that mind? I think that's what happened to Scottie Pippen in the 1991 playoffs. I was all over him with that series, and I got fined for it. $5,000 worth when I pushed him into the stands. After that, he got a migraine headache and sat out a game. I think he probably did have a migraine, but I think I might have had a hand in giving it to him. People don't know how to take me. You talk to coaches, except for Chuck Daly, and to other players, and they don't know how to reach me the way I like it. I don't want people in the game of basketball around me. I built up this force field around myself, this mystery, and I don't want to lose that. After I'd been with the Bulls for a few weeks, Scottie Pippen was asked by Sports Illustrated whether he'd had a conversation with me. Scottie said, "No, I have not had a conversation with Dennis. I have never had a conversation with Dennis in my life, so I don't think that it's anything new now." Okay. That's all part of my edge. If other players started to get to know me, they might find out I'm not the same guy they think I am. They then might start to think that they can tame me on the court. I'm not going to give them that opening. You're going to have to find a way to stop me on your own, bro. And nobody's found it yet. Not many guys have been through what I've been through. If you've been from that time, you're 13. You're 13 that you're going to the NBA, you might not be as strong mentally as I am. I had to work my ass off and climb through a lot of shit. Remember that tunnel? To get here? I know how important that mind is. Some coaches will have a guy designated to come in to try and hurt Dennis Rodman. You know what I do? I say, okay, great. I accept this challenge. Try to hurt me. If you're going to hurt me, great. But you've got to make sure you put somebody in there that's a lot crazier, a lot wilder, and a lot more bizarre than I am. That's the only way it's going to work. And I don't know who that guy is. And you know what? I'm not sure that guy exists.